Today we're going to be learning about multiplication properties of exponents. So multiplying powers with the same base. For every non-zero number a and integers m and n, if a to the mth power times n to the nth power will equal a to the m plus n. So if we take a look here, we have 4 to the negative 12th power times by 4 to the 3rd power times by 4 to the 5th. So they each have the same base, so we know it's going to end up being 4. And when we are multiplying each of these together, we're going to add our exponents. So then that means we have negative 12 plus 3 plus 5. So we have 4 to the negative 4th power. Here our base is 75 hundredths. And if we have 4 in the 0 power, and we add them together, we get to the 4th power. Here our base is 5 hundredths. So negative 4 plus 4 will be 0. 3 doesn't have another like base, so we're going to keep 3, but we have r to the negative first times by r to the 4th. So negative 1 plus 4 leaves us with 3. Now when we take a look, we have 7x to the 5th times by 3x to the 2nd. So first we can do 7 times 3, which is 21. X to the 5th times x squared has the same base, which is x. So 5 plus 2 is 7. For our next one, we have negative 2.5 n to the 4th times by 4 times 2n to the negative 3rd. So first, negative 2.5 times by 4 is negative 10. N to the 4th times by n to the negative 3rd has the same base of n. 4 plus a negative 3 is a positive 1. So for our next one, negative 4 times n to the 3rd times by 3 and 5 times m to the negative 3rd. So negative 4 times by 3.5 is negative 14. M to the 3rd times m to the negative 3rd is m to the 0 power. And here if we do x to the 5th, y to the 2nd times by x to the negative 9th times y, our like bases are x. 5 plus a negative 9 is a negative 4. Y squared times y is y to the 3rd. So here we have 4 times c to the 4th times by 2ac to the 3rd times by 5a to the 6th times c. So first we do 4 times 2 times 5, so we have 40. Then we have a like base of c, c to the 4th, c to the 3rd, and c to the 1st. So 4 plus 3 is 7, plus another 1 is 8. Then we have a is a like base. A to the 1st times by a to the 6th is going to be a to the 7th. And lastly, we have 4 times a negative 1, which is a negative 4, or like base of a. So a to the 8th power times by a squared is going to be a to the 10th. Then we have a like base of b. b to the 3rd power times by b to the negative 2 is b to the 1st power. So then if we look back at some of these, we can rewrite this, which is 1 over 4 to the positive 4th power. This one we have a positive 4. Remember, anything to the 0 power is 1. Here, negative 10 to the times by n to the 1st power is just a negative 10 times n. M to the 0 is really 1, so this is a negative 14. X to the negative 4th is going to become in our denominator, so we have y to the 3rd divided by x to the 4th. And lastly, this one, b to the 1st, is just negative 4 times a to the 10th times by b. So let's simplify each expression in scientific notation. So first we're going to do take our 4 times 3, which is 12, times by, well, 10 to the 4th times by 10 to the 2nd. It has a like base of 10, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So now we have to make sure it's in scientific notation. So we take our decimal, we have to move it 1 over, so it's 1.2 times 10 to the 7th power, since we moved it over 1. Next one, 8 times 5 is 40, times by, well, we have a like base of 10 and a negative 4 times and a negative 2. Add together to be a negative 6. So once again, we have to move our decimal place so we can write in scientific notation. So 4.0 times by 10, it's going to become negative 5 because we're going up 1. And lastly, if we have 0.7 times by 3/10, it's going to be 21 hundredths times by, well, our like base is 10, and negative 10 plus 8 is a negative 2. So here we move our decimal, so it's going to be 2 1/10 times by 10 to the negative third power. So let's complete each equation. So 5 squared times by 5 to the something power will equal 5 to the 11th. Well, if we do 9 plus 2, 9 plus 2 will get us 11. So c to the negative third times by c to some power will equal c squared. So negative 3 plus something will get us a positive 2, which will be 5. Negative 3 plus 5 equals 2. And lastly, if we have a to the negative power of 2 times by a to the first times by a to the third, negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1, plus 3 is 2. Here we have the Earth's crust contains 120 trillion metric tons of gold. So it's 120 trillion metric tons of gold. It means it's 120 times by 10 to the 14th power. So remember, to the trillionths, 1 trillion is times 10 to the 12th power. And then we also have that we know just 1 metric ton of gold is 27 million, so that's 2.7 times by 10 to the 7th power, because 1 million was 10 to the 6th power. So if we multiply 1.2 times by 2.7, we end up with 3 24 hundredths, times by 10, 14 plus 7 is 21.